everyone, it's Tammy at Frou-frou Studio. Welcome back and happy Monday. I hope everyone is having a good start to your week. Today I'm going to be sharing the hashtag Junk Journal Madness theme and materials and makes for the month of July, as well as the guest collaborator. Um, this challenge is hosted by Susan, and I totally love it. And every month, she picks a guest collaborator, and the guest comes up with 6 different themes for a journal, and then Susan will roll a die and come up with the number of materials and the number of makes that you're to make for the current month. You can make any kind of journal that you want to, and you can interpret the theme, however suits you the best. It has been loads of fun so far this year, and I am particularly excited about this month's theme because it is the Roaring 20s, which is one of my favorite decades. I make a lot of journals that are 20s, 30s, 40s, that kind of time period, because those are my favorite. The guest collaborator for this month is Steph's Design Space. So I encourage you to jump over to her site and see what she's going to have going for the month, as well as you can follow the hashtag JJ Madness both on Instagram and YouTube and whatever other social medias that you have, and you can see what everyone else is doing for the month. So, I had originally thought, when I spoke briefly about it the other day, that I was going to go vintage 1920s with photos and so forth and so on. Excuse me, getting a swallow of my tea there and hoping it's going to keep me from getting choked up during this video. But I found this digital, which I absolutely love. It is by Paper Farms, and it is a 1920s Christmas. So I thought, what a perfect time of year to start a Christmas journal. And the ephemera is absolutely gorgeous. There's not any background papers or anything like that. It's all just little journaling cards and things like that that can be changed into other things. And so it's a very inexpensive little kit, and it is available on Etsy. So if you're looking for something a little different, you can see the colors are gorgeous in this. And I'm going to be pairing this with some of my leftover digital papers from last year in my stash, as well as some ephemera that I had in my stash from last year. And yeah, we're going to make a little journal, and we're going to make a little journal. This little book I thought would be perfect. One, because I was wanting something kind of smaller and chunkier. And this little book is a copy of Dickens' A Tale of Two Cities. No, it's not A Christmas Carol, but it is. When you think of Dickens, that's what you think of. But the inscription on the inside, this was a required reading book for a senior English. I'm assuming that's what 4B English means, is senior, at KHS, which I assume is a high school. The teacher was Mr. Smith, and the student makes a notation here that this book was required reading for a 4B class, and it is dated October 3rd, 1923. So I'm going to not cover all that up because I want the date to show. I haven't decided what I'm going to do on this back page yet, but there is a label. If I can get this open here. Oh, flip. That says the contract price for this book was 30 cents, and it was a state contract, I'm assuming with the book supplier, and that the sales or whatever would be reported to the county superintendent, blah, 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 to the state superintendent at Nashville. So, this is what we're going to use. It's in pretty good shape. I did reinforce this part a little bit when I took the book block out, and I did save the book block. So, that is going to be what I used. I have not put my papers together yet, but we're going to work on the cover today. So, what I have done, first I'm going to take one of my little stamp blocks and put in here just so it's flatter, is I want this front to have kind of layers to it. So, I've taken this black cardstock, and it's got kind of a design in it, and I'm sure that's not showing up very well on camera. And I want to put that on there first, mainly just to give, I want to bring in some black. I don't want to change the color of the book. And I have outlined it with a gold Sharpie just to bring in a little bit of bling. So we're going to put this piece down first and then continue from there. So I'm going to get it down. And I did do a lot of this ahead of time because I didn't want this video to be forever long, and you don't need to see me trace around a piece of paper with a gold Sharpie. So, just going to put some more glitter glue on here, and we'll get this piece on. We're going to put this as close to being straight as my eyeballs can get it anyway. And that's going to be our background. Now, the 1920s, the Roaring 20s, was kind of a celebration in a way of after the war, and it was also a time where a lot of different kind of things, in particular electronics and things like that, kind of exploded. You had your first silent movies. Movies were a big thing. Cameras were a big thing. Cars were, developing. It's when the Tommy gun was invented. That's why we have had all those gangsters in the 20s. Jazz became really popular. And women kind of were breaking out of the mold of you know, being behind the men so much. And they were smoking cigarettes and going to the speakeasies and dancing and dressing a little bit more bold. And so, yeah, it was just now this one I'm putting even with the black on this side and leaving a green reveal over here as I make a mess with the glue. But I just love the fashion of that era, and women, the way women were, you know, kind of coming out of that. Oh, I've got to stay home and cook dinner thing. Not that they didn't do that too, but a lot of women were like cutting their hair short into the little bobs and exposing more skin in their clothes and things like that, wearing the little slinky flappers and the opulent jewelry and furs and things like that. So it's just really cool to see some of the fashion and things from that time. Now I'm going to do the same thing, I think, with this one. I'm thinking, or do I want, yeah, I want it to go this way. And I'm going to make it even with the green at the top. See, I'm kind of staggering the little panels. You know what I did? I forgot to put my closure up under there. That's okay. We'll put it under this one. I just wanted it to be up under. So it wouldn't block. And this is just some cream color satin ribbon. And I'm just going to wrap it around. Stay in there, block. So that later I can tie it in a bow to close up the journal. Try to get it somewhat in the middle. Doesn't have to be exactly. All right, now again, I'm going to put it right up to the edge of the green piece. So we have, like I said, a kind of staggered panel. Now this is the piece that I'm using for the kit, and you can see that I've embellished it a little bit to give it a little bit of bling. And I'm going to mount it so that the red is sticking out at the top in one of the sides, just like that. And this is some yarn, some of that, you know, fuzzy yarn, and these are some vintage kind of feathery plume things. And then I had a piece of jewelry, this one, which I pulled out to use in the kit, and I just snipped off a couple of the rhinestones to put in her hair, or on her hat. So, now we'll glue this one down. And I had originally had just the green and didn't have the red mat on there. And I felt like it needed another piece of red. Somewhere. So that is the point of the red. Get in there, don't you wrinkle. Get up. You can see how quickly that art glitter glue bonds, but we got it. Okay, I should have found something less slick than that block to put in there. It keeps slipping. Alright. Now the other thing that I have, and I'm still debating on, so it's still sitting over here to the side, is I have some little, I have a couple of little labels. One of them is this one. And I thought about putting that. And then I have this one that says A Joyful Christmas. And I like that. But I also like it without. And then the last thing that I have is I have these little red rhinestones. And I thought about putting those kind of in the shape of a poinsettia on here. Maybe like that. And then I have another rhinestone that would go in the middle. But at this point, I'm really undecided. I really am. But I do know, so I'm going to hold off on that, because I may come across something that I like even better. But I am going to stamp some script on here. And I'm going to stamp it in kind of a gray color, just because I think that works best with what's going on, and I just want something kind of in the background. So I'm going to take Archival, and this is Shadow Gray. And let me get a piece of book page here, because I don't want to stamp on my ribbon by accident. I'll probably have to hold that up there while I'm doing it, but that's okay. Let me make sure I have my stamp the right way up. Sorry, I know my hand's probably in the way. There we go. And then I think I might want to put 25 over there. Do I have something that's small? Yeah, I think I do. Give me just a second. I'm going to walk around my other table. Okay, so this is going to work for a couple reasons. One, because Christmas is 25th, and the other is because we're doing the 20s, so it could be 1925, right? Alright, so let's do the 2. And then hopefully we'll get this somewhere close. If not, we'll put something over it. 5. That'll work. Okay. You don't like that. I'm wondering, I didn't get that very straight. Oh, maybe it is. Maybe it's just, yeah, it's fine. I'm wondering if we're going to do some white splatters to kind of look like snow. Just on the edges. That makes me nervous, though. Alright, let's go for it. I can always print it out again and do it all again. I don't want to do that, but you know. Alright, so I'm just going to take my gesso. And I'm going to use a stamp block to put it on. It's easier to clean up. Just get a tad and add some water. I didn't mean to stick my water pen down in there. Okay, mix it up here with my dried up fan brush. This is what I use to make my splatters. Checking it over here to see if it's, yeah, I think that's gonna work. Okay, now I want to cover up this whole thing. Okay, I think I want a little bit more down here. Don't get on her face. Okay, I think that's gonna do me. Like I said, I don't want to overdo it, but I wanted something to kind of look like snow. All right, I know that's fairly simple, but I want to keep it pretty simple on the outside. And like I said, I will decide about the poinsettia or the tag or whatever as I work through the journal. I would rather not do something that I regret down the road and just wait till it comes to me and I'm satisfied with it. Then go ahead and put it on just so I can say that I did it. You know what I mean? So that's it, guys. So again, the theme is Roaring 20s. The guest collaborator is Steph's Design Shop, or Space. Steph's Design Space. 7 materials, 6 makes, and if you're struggling for materials or makes, Susan at I Totally Love It does have a Google Doc that you can download that is absolutely filled with ideas for makes and for materials. So jump over there and download that, and you can have that to work from. And yeah, I don't think it'll be hard at all to do 7 materials and 6 makes. I mean, I already have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 7 materials, right? We've got the feathers, the rhinestones, the yarn, the paint, the cardstock, the ribbon, and the digital, and the book. So we're at 8 already. So that was before we even get inside. So yeah, I'm looking forward to doing this one, and I hope you guys will tune in and see how it progresses. Again, the kit that I'm using is by Paper Farms. So if you wanted to do something tied in with Christmas, in the theme, this one's gorgeous. The colors, I love the colors. And I love the muted tones. You know, it's not the bright bright reds and greens, which I like those too, but yeah, this one just struck me. So that's what we're going with. So that's it for today, guys. I'll be back in a day or two, and we'll do something new. I'm behind on my ABC JLC challenge, so I've got to do that at some point. And also, I'll be working on my Sweet Pea Curiosities journal, which is Clara's Herbatorium, which I love that kid as well. So it's going to be a good month for journaling, and it just puts me closer to my trip, which I'm getting so excited about. So stay tuned for future videos, and I hope you guys have a great week. See you soon. Bye.